Okay, you know, I've had enough of this bullshit from my apartment and Bremerton Housing Authority and the building code inspector, David Lineman, and the health department, which says they don't even do inspections on mold, in which was reported to my landlord on 10/25, and they had an assessment done by somebody named Environix from Lidwood, Brian, who came out of my crawl space and said we definitely have a mold problem. Okay, and in turn, from the result of my complaint, I requested his lab report. My apartment is refusing to give it to me. Okay, I contacted the building inspector, and they refused to do a building code inspection back in November when I was complaining I was sick. So I had then sent off for my own lab test that I paid for, sent off and paid for, which suggested 3 kinds of mold, one of them being Aspergillus mold colony and Claudosporium mold colony in my bedroom. Now let me explain why I did that. Because it's apparent that there's black mold on my eaves. My eaves are rotted. I have what's black mold truss lines on my ceiling in my bedroom, and also my son does, and another resident in the apartment stated that they have them as well. Okay, so with that lab report, I sent that to Tammy at the building code inspector place, and she said it's a health and safety issue. I have to go to the health department or contact the health department. Well, they declined to do an inspection because I had other options, like the apartment said they'd let me out of my lease for free, in which I just moved in 2.5 months before that and was homeless for 3 weeks before that. So that really was not an option. Or they offered me another unit in the same complex for $150 more. Okay. In the meantime, I'm being harassed about my service animal from the apartment. I'm being told to control other people's children in my apartment that don't belong to me. I'm twice now have been harassed about my service animal being on a leash. They treat me like shit, like total shit. When I had gotten a letter from my son. Okay, so fast forward. Sorry, I had my son was sick in December at the beginning of the month, and he was getting better in a couple of weeks. Well, my son ended up with he was getting better, and then he came home for Christmas break. So he had already had a weakened immune system. He already has allergies. And in that mold report, 2 of them suggested there is water damage. Water damage in the roof. Okay, that means a moisture problem. And dampness in the walls. 2 of those 3 molds. Okay. So since I had to do my own report, so I gave that to the health department and refused because of other options. Move out, let me out of my lease for free, give me another unit for $150 more. Why should I have to pay more for a safer unit? I'm on Section 8, and I did have Bremerton Housing come in and do an inspection right after this, my complaint with no report. And then I did have them come back a couple days ago, and you know, they take these little pictures and take pictures of the truss lines and all this other stuff and look for leakage. But everybody is forgetting the whole point. nobody has asked, Bremerton House, or nobody has asked for the report from the apartment from Environix that will solve all these problems. And they're refusing to do so. But they don't, like Bremerton Housing doesn't have the means to test, to do this, that, and the other. The health department said they don't even really do mold testing because there's no mold standards in Washington. Anyway, so my son now has fungal pneumonia, and I had to fight tooth and nail for them to get to approve for my son to be in a safe environment, and they're all passing the buck. Oh, well, she quit talking or didn't take those options to move. She did this, she did that. Blaming it on me, what it boils down to is the health department didn't approve an inspection, therefore Tammy from the inspection place didn't come out and inspect. Okay, it's all coming from the roof. I have pictures. I crawled up there last night, not crawled up, but opened it, and I have pictures of the mold, big, huge mold colonies where the roof leaks. And they tried covering it up, the moisture problem up, by putting fresh insulation on the old insulation, which is all rotted with mold, underneath the fresh insulation. Okay, so then what's happening is the insulation is getting soaked by the leaks and by the moisture, and is sitting right on my drywall ceiling. Okay, and creating those truss lines. The code inspector today came out, David Lyman, and went through the 8 points that I had, and told me that this was a RCW 59.18 inspection, and also one that I would have in regards to suing my landlord. Okay, now, in the beginning, Tammy kept sending me this email saying, you still haven't told me what kind of inspection you wanted. Well, I ended up filing a complaint. I gotta pause this video. Thank you.